Okay, I've been busy tonight. As you can see, I put the front bumper back on this thing. And this wire, fencing wire, is here because this is a plastic bumper. And when they took the bumper off the other car for me, they cut the bolts out, so I had to weld plates to the studs that were sticking out. And that kind of melted the plastic a bit, so I want to keep this plastic in front of this bar. They actually use a sway bar out of a car and welded it in, kind of scab welded it in there with some nuts and bolts, or I should say big bolts, to brace it. I'm hoping it won't break it in the center like it did last year. And the fencing wire is just to kind of hold it all together, plus the chain bumpers. But now, this is why we got taken out of the race. I broke in a tie rod in an accident, and actually bent it, and my boss straightened it out with the big bar, but he went too far and then bent it back the other way. Anyway, it weakened it. So now we're going to take some angle iron. I'm going to weld that in there just like that. You can see the break in there. We put a bolt. The other side I'll take apart and make sure it's not towing in or towing out too much. I don't know if that'll affect it in the mud or not, but we're going to give her a go and then I'll get back to you. For good measures, I'm going to try to cool it down fast. Give it a little bit of tempering, case hardening. I don't think I got enough water on it. You can see what I did. I welded along the top side of that. I'm thinking I should go along the bottom side too. And I'll do the same thing. I'll quench it with water again after I'm done my bead. Just make sure she's extra solid. Mess. Now, I've started folding the wheel wells just because they're kind of bashed up from someone trying to give me the pit maneuver last year. I folded them outwards instead of in, because this may cut their tire next time they come in there. And, well, too bad for them. I'm going to knock that dent out. I don't know why, but I'm going to knock it out. And I kind of fold that side up too. Give my tires more clearance inside, because I'm not going to take tires out and bash it up in there. We're almost ready. Hey dog. Let's see what we can do with that. Okay, that only took like 20-30 seconds to pop it out. Thinking about jamming something in there so they can't do it again. But you know what, I don't care that much, so I'm not going to bother. I should do it. Okay, so I checked the toe in the old-fashioned way with this little device right here. This is how we used to set toe in the old days, rear-wheel drive cars. It works on front-wheel drive cars too. Just a bar. It'll slide in a round stock, slide in a piece of square stock with that. What you do is you touch. Okay, this would be the inside of your tire. I should have showed it on. There wasn't much room in there. Okay, top the car is that way. So you touch the inside of the front of the tire, and then you move it to the back on each side. So both ends of this device will be touching the front tires. Now, it's important to keep the car on the ground, because when you jack it up, it changes the angles. What you want to do is set it so it's slightly towing in, and on front wheel drive maybe slightly towing out, because the force of the drive axle is going to force the tires back in, from what I understand how it used to work. And rear wheel drive cars, you want to slightly tow them in. Well, I set mine slightly towed in, and when I checked it, it was over an inch towing in on the back side. So I put it tight to the front side, so this was tightened on the front, if that makes any sense. And then I had an inch of gap between this and the tire, so I know it's towing way far in. It didn't feel right down the driveway, so we set it. Now I'm going to weld a piece of angle iron on here so we don't have the same trouble this year, so we don't bend the tire right in. And I'll weld it like right in there, fill it up with weld. Now I just popped the brake line fooling around in the driveway, but I also noticed that top of this wheel is laying outwards. So that accident I had last year, I don't know if you can notice it. it obviously bent something really good on that side, so I'm gonna have to look at it while I'm there. The brake line popped right up in here, down in there. You can see the brake line coming out. It popped right up under there, so I'm gonna have to get some stuff tomorrow. I'll go in town later tonight. Cut it right there and put a short piece of line right to the flex hose. Hopefully the bleeder screw comes out. Oh well, I'd rather find out here than on the track race day and have no brakes and cream somebody. So I've cut the brake line, and I'm seriously thinking about doing a redneck brake line repair by crimping this and double or triple folding it over and then smashing it with a hammer. I want to be able to stop, but I was thinking that if only the left side front worked, it'd drag me around the corner faster and maybe kick my right rear out a little bit better, but I doubt it. So I'm gonna fix the brake line, but I'm going to have to wait till the morning to get into work to get my tools. Now I've cut the brother end right here with a pair of side cutters, and I fold the piece up inside where it isn't going to damage anything. Not that it's going to matter on this car. Yeah, so if I can get that out there, and then I might have to heat that up and get the bleeder screw out, but I can do that tonight, get that all done, and then morning I only have to make a short piece of line and bleed it, and we're off the races. You can see my cobble job last year, we broke the tie rod end, broke here, so we've welded a piece in and since added a piece of angle iron right up to here to there, but it'll probably bend up in here now. If that happens, then it's going to be pretty much done. Next year I'll get something with a little bit more power, maybe a Chevy 3.8, or you can see the skid plate underneath it, pretty good size. Weld it, made my own crossover pipe, and well, you can't really see it in there, not too great in there, it's not enough light. Made my own crossover pipe, took the converters right off it. Sounds mean. Anyway, we'll see you in the morning. Okay, I got the flare nut out of there, and now I have to heat here. I'm going to turn that cherry red with the torch, and then, well, there's different ways to do it. Some people heat the bleeder up and throw water on it to case harden it. That method doesn't really work with me too well. So I tend to heat this red right in here without trying to burn. Well, it doesn't matter on this car, but hit it cherry red, and then it should come out. Okay, I don't know if you can see this or not. I'm trying to hold the camera in my left hand, which isn't, I can't really see where I'm aiming it, and I get the axle boot on fire. It's already cracked from the field, so split open, whatever you want to call it. We're gonna get this cherry red. I should be using both hands. So I'm going to drop the torch real quick and grab the socket. I'm going to turn the cherry red, and I'm going to, well, maybe we can do it one hand. Maybe not. Maybe. Let's try it first. And I don't really care, I'm burning the rubbers on the brake sliders. This car is probably only going to last this race, and that'll be it. If this was a customer's car, I'd have to care, put a heat shield there. But since this is what we're doing, I don't really care. Let it catch fire. And apparently it's doing quite a good job of that. Should turn the heat up a bit. No, it's not red enough. It's getting there. Just starting to turn cherry. You want it just before molten. Test. I just hold it there. That should be good. I'm going to turn the camera off right now because I need to shut the torches off. Okay. Okay, sorry you missed it. I got it free. And that's not healthy, so don't breathe this in. You got bleeds, and apparently the bleed screw is clean because the fluid's coming out of it, so that's good. That's less work I have to do in the morning. I go to town and get my tools. I was thinking about going to Canadian Tire tonight and getting what I need, but if I get a length of line and replace it to the master, because of where it runs, it's going to be a pain in the ass. So it's easier to put a new nut on the end of this and reflare it and put a union and then run the line from there than it is to run that line down in here underneath, and it's on this side of that master. There's two on this side to go to the back, or one goes to the back, one goes to the left front, and this side here, the other one goes to left rear and the right front. But I'm going to leave it because it's too hard to get at. So we'll go from there. And it appears that I've bent the strut, I believe. It doesn't look quite right down in here. It doesn't look real straight. But anyway, that's another story. Or I bent the lower ball joint. That doesn't look... Yeah, that's probably what I did. Oh yeah. You see it right here. That's bad. Looks like it's all out of kilter here. Anyway.